BTC and 32 ETH.
Welcome back, Hard Forkers, to the show that for nearly a year now has been helping you get to 1 Bitcoin and 32 Ethereum. Let's find out from the boys how that's going. Stefano, have you got 1 Bitcoin and 32 Ethereum yet?
Yes. Okay, yes.
Okay. Mr. Gonzo, how's your portfolio looking these days?
Pretty good. I don't know. I haven't looked at it really closely, even at all, since those that last big bleed out. I just said, I can forget it. Just focus on everything else.
On this 1 BTC and 32 Ethereum show, we really have spent a lot of time now trying to explain use case to you, how you can also go about getting tokens if you're not in a position to buy them. We're going to have a look at that today. I think there's a wonderful opportunity on that front. Stefano is going to be talking us through the 9 Chronicles game where you can mine tokens. All you need is a laptop or a PC. Don't need the money. So we're going to be looking at that in a moment. Look, it's been a real passion for us guys, hasn't it? This play to earn space of, the metaverse, so to speak. We've got 3 billion gamers out there, and a nice little community of gamers growing here on the Hard Forking channel. I think, Stefano, you wanted to give a pass on our thoughts to one of the community who's not very well at the moment as well.
Yes, I don't know the name. That's the thing. Jordan knows the name because he's like one of the scholars from the Gonzo scholars.
If it's the scholar that mentioned that, texted me, that's Aldrin, his son. He's in the hospital.
So obviously we hope that the kid is going to recover pretty soon and as quickly as possible. But the very nice thing is that the community has gathered together, and among themselves they managed to raise a small amount, obviously, to ensure that the bills could have been paid, and the antibiotics provided and whatever cost involved on the hospitalization that were involved. And so it's nice to see that once again the community, the things that we're building shows that there is this general support and willingness to help, that is not a one direction things, but that overall we're all trying to improve the overall thing, basically.
Yeah, so look, we'll be reaching out to the people involved there to see if we can help. Also, we just got a few details on it today, so we want to learn more of what's happened there and how we can help. Now, guys, speaking of helping people, I think there's a wonderful opportunity here in this play to earn space. We'll be looking at what we're doing with Axie Infinity end of the show. But first, I want to have a look at the new game that we are partnering up with, helping grow the community here. We really like this. It's completely decentralized. Today, we want to have a look at actually purchasing the tokens, Stefano. So something that I'm definitely doing. I know a lot of other people that want to. It's not listed on an exchange yet. For me, represents a wonderful opportunity to support this ecosystem and also be involved very early should the token appreciate in value. So, Stefano, can you talk us through the current situation with the 9 Chronicles Gold token? And for people that maybe do want to purchase it, how do you do that?
Sure. I'm going to screen share a couple of things before getting into that, obviously, because that I always try to drop some news when it's possible, when we have updates and things like that. So
Airdrop alert. Airdrop alert.
Okay, so the first one has been the Gitcoin. Gitcoin is basically a platform where people put up requests for grants, for funds, where you can basically sponsor them, giving them funds, and they develop the product that they are thinking about. It doesn't have to be a new product. It can be a plugin and adds on a specific existing product and so on. And they have done an airdrop to anybody that has ever participated in this type of thing. So once again, if you have helped the community, this time the community is giving back to you. And classic thing. We say that so many times. So this is the first airdrop that is available. The second one is from the Black Pool, and this is more relating to like the play to earn ecosystem. So the Black Pool is basically like a fund, an NFT funds where like basically they put the money in and they spend those funds to buy and support the play to earn ecosystem. They've launched their government token, and they basically like send and airdrop the tokens to a bunch of different categories. For example, like if you ever breed an XC in your account, you are eligible for the airdrop. And that's like, for example, for Jordan's side, one of the projects that Sean has mentioned many times, the Rev token. If you own an NFT from the game F1 Delta Time, you are eligible for the airdrop here as well. If you own a Nesh mask, there are like so many different things. So chances are that if you're part of the play to earn ecosystem in one way or another, you can be eligible for the tokens over there. For the Black Pool, yeah.
Really, honestly though, like, doesn't every wallet qualify? Because like, you know, I've got 100 MetaMasks now, and I stopped checking after about 30 because they all qualified.
Well, but you need to breed. That's the thing. Having the Axie per se in the wallet, that doesn't qualify. You need to breed.
No, like I checked and they all qualified. Even ones that like I never used, interacted
Did you
with.
refresh the wallet, the connection on the wallet?
Yeah, you could see it. It would change the address. I double checked it, every address.
Okay.
Like I started my Axie wallets at like 12. And then after 12, it's all scholarships. But 1 to 12 all qualified. Then I started doing the scholarship accounts. Those all qualified. So
I didn't check actually the scholarship accounts.
So Mr. Gonzo's a Blackpool whale now, is he? What are these?
Pretty
what are
much.
These,
That's
what are the tokens worth, guys?
now that the gas is super cheap.
So the Blackpool token, it's worth. There it is. It's worth $2.89. Then it went down in value. Good thing I sold.
And how many do you get?
There, see, we started at 10. Like, look at where we are.
28.
So on average, a wallet will get like 29.30, like a classic one. So we started from like $200-300. And if we're looking at now, I'm running up, is less than 30, it's like 29 something. It's $86. So it's pretty low. It really went down. It's once again, it shows the point that like we mentioned many times that like, you know, airdrops are becoming a little bit of like the path of like the ICO hunters back in 2017, where like you get the listing and prices goes down 80-90% immediately, and only after you see like if there is a real value in the project or not. Now I have absolutely nothing against Blackpool. I say a big thank you for the tokens. I think that what they're doing is very cool. However, just to be clear, I sold everything in the same way that I've done for the Ampliforth token, in the same way that I've done for the Pool token, in the same way that I've done like with the Gitcoin and so on.
You might actually be missing one airdrop as well that I think you're definitely eligible for. Do you want to go to the Define website there?
Define earlier droppers airdrop is here, May 22nd. Damn, look at this. DFY is currently available, blah, blah, blah. We're pleasure to announce that we are airdropping 500,000 DFYN, roughly 5% of the circulation supply. First, before keep reading, are we talking about money or not? CoinGecko.
Oh, it's like $400, I think.
4.44 is going down the. Oh, it's actually increasing this one. Oh no, it's pretty stable. Look at that. Start from 5 is now a good one. Damn, this might actually be a good time to. By 1st of May, blah, blah, blah. How are we user eligible for an airdrop? Step 1, we currently do blah, blah, blah. Graph 4, first 1,000 entries at a time. Cool story. Here's your timestamp, blah, blah, blah. The data received from the previous step. Okay. Liquidity providers. I'm definitely a liquidity provider, by the way.
So
we
once
found that
again, people, this is one that we did a number of videos on showing you how to use it. We looked at
on
Galaxy.
the Galaxy Farm, yeah.
So here it is again, and this has just been a mantra of this channel for so long. Get in and try new tech. You are so often rewarded with free tokens, and that's happened yet again.
So if you have used that once, every user will get 75. So if you have tried that at least once, you will get $333. And then there is obviously the liquidity provider things, which is like quite interesting. It's variable, blah, 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 blah. Okay, but how do I claim it? We will publish another post with a list of addresses that are eligible for the airdrop, along with the fine details of how user can claim their respective airdrops in the near future. As a community-oriented project, we consider it's our duty to continue to reward our supportive community with much more campaigns in the future. That's why the price didn't drop like crazy, because nobody has claimed that.
Yeah, but look,
Another
it's a
partnership with
platform
Polycat
we've used. We've
Finance.
made how-to guides on it. I think we
Oh,
ranked
look.
quite highly.
They partner with Ethereum Network, which is one of the projects that we have reviewed in the past. Heal farming guide cannot occur less. I want to see how I claim.
Yeah, I don't think it's been announced yet.
No, it's not available yet.
But there you go,
Well,
people.
okay, so-
If you have used any of those three platforms or dApps that we've just covered there, you're getting an airdrop. So look,
Well, 2 are already available. 1 is we don't know. So yeah, whenever it's gonna happen, we're gonna let you know in more detail. Sorry, before that, the most important part that I was supposed to talk about.
9 Chronicles.
Correct. You can see that I'm in the Discord server right now, because that's the thing. With no exchange, no option of buying from the website and so on, your only option is to buy.
Sorry, Stefano, just back up for 1 second. For people that are learning about 9 Chronicles for the first time, just give us the high level overview of what it is before we talk about buying.
9 Chronicle is a fully decentralized game where the data and everything that is happening is recorded on a blockchain. You as the gamer can be one of the miner. It runs like on a POW model, and it's a fully decentralized one. So really, there is no central entity that is in control on that. It's not, always remember play to earns in the sense of like there are parts of the blockchain aspects inside. This is a game where like from start to end, everything runs on the blockchain, which means that it cannot be taken down in any possible way.
So effectively, mining the in-game token here is like mining Bitcoin on your laptop back in the day, right?
Yes.
Same thing. You're committing some resources to it. You're rewarded in the token. Completely decentralized game. This is super exciting to me.
Yes. Now, the only thing is that like because it runs on their own blockchain, obviously they are not on an exchange yet, neither a centralized one or a decentralized, because obviously like they don't have like DEXs or anything like that available. So the only way that you have to actually exchange and trade both items, because the items are NFTs, the weapons, the costumes, the food, like whatever things you get in the game, those are NFTs, the equipments and so on. And number 2, the tokens that you need to purchase these type of items, obviously to improve your character and so on. So the only way that you have to do that is by actually joining the Planetarium Discord server. Planetarium is the company that has developed the 9 Chronicles game. You go on the market, okay? You go to this section over here, and you will find all the different announcements from people that wants to buy or sell. So for example, there is this guy that wants to buy 9 Chronicles Gold up to 200,000 coins. And he's willing to pay a price of like $1 per 55 tokens. Because this is a peer-to-peer, everybody has different approaches, obviously. So for example, this guy, Toro was selling, he wanted to sell up to 1,000, so on a range between 500 and 1,000 tokens for a ratio of 30 tokens per dollar. Before you had like buying for 55, this guy is selling for 30 per dollar. He's already sold out, so everything is gone already. This guy still wants to buy on a 55, decrease that, so it's now is 180. So there's still obviously like demand and supply in the market. This guy wants to sell. So the latest one, he wants to sell 20,000 tokens for a ratio of 30 per $1, and so on. So how does it work? You basically
Sorry, go on, Stefano.
you basically come here, you find something that you like, or perhaps something that you think like potentially might be of interest for you. So for example, let's take the latest one because it's the most recent one. And let's say that like, okay, I want to buy. Sad Asian is the last one that wrote, so chances are that he still have tokens available. So the thing that I would do is basically get in contact with him. And so I would click on his name, text him a message, send him a message, and basically telling him like, hey, do you still have the coins? Are you, and if you're okay with the price, you can just say like, okay, I want to do like 30 on a dollar. Or you might be like, how about we do 50 on a dollar and I buy up all the 20,000 that you have? You obviously figure out a payment mechanisms that is good with you. So for example, it could be PayPal, or it could be ETH, or it could be stablecoin running on Tether, or sorry, on Tron, or on Binance. Whatever things like works for you, you obviously like communicate directly with the person that wants to sell or buy, because it works in the same exactly way in the two ways. And then you have two options. Either you trust the person, which obviously the tip here is like, look at the roles that they have. So for example, if it's someone with the green name, that's from the company directly. If it's someone with the orange thing, that's a community lead. So if someone that is being appointed by the company directly to actually manage those type of things. If it's a veteran is someone that has passed level 150 in the game. So again, those are quite reliable individuals, to be honest. But if it's someone that is like, for example, have like just a gray name, could be anybody, just a new person. And so maybe you're like, oh, wait a second, I don't really trust this person. You know, I don't know this person. I don't know what to do, and so on. So what you can do is that you can ask the community lead for a middleman. So you can simply write here, once you have discussed, let's assume that I discussed everything with said agent, we agree on everything. And then I say like, okay, let's use a middleman. So I will come here on the market and write, for example, any community lead available for middlemen. And then I can write the message and just wait. What it's going to happen is basically like one of the community lead will get in contact with me, agree on terms and conditions. Different community leads has different prices. So some people may actually charge you 1% of the entire amount that you're using. Others, because they don't have a lot of time, they might charge you 10%. And others might actually do that for free. You know, it's the same thing. It's someone that is putting a service in. But you know that because it's a community lead or is someone from the company directly, that obviously you're not going to be scammed. So the way that it works is that that person will jump in and be a middleman. So said agent will send the 9 Chronicles gold from his wallet to the middleman wallet. And so the middleman will basically keep the token in escrow. From there, you that wants to buy, you will send the money, the payment to said agent. Once the TX is confirmed, everybody's happy and so on. At that point, the community lead will transfer the coins, the token, from himself, from the community lead, to the person that is buying. If you don't really know about like what I'm saying now, look at the video that me and Sean has done and show like how the transfer of 9 Chronicles tokens happen and like how you do that for using the wallet and so on. But basically, like you had the person in between that kind of like save you from being scammed and things like that. And that's it. If you want to sell, same thing. If you want to buy, same thing. You can just like, let's assume that the price is not something that you like. You can just write a message and be like, want to buy 50,000, 500,000 tokens for, $80 on $90 on $100 on whatever you feel like. Just use this channel for that.
So basically, the NCG token you can use to purchase in-game assets, or you can purely speculate on appreciation in the price of this as the community goes. So look, I am playing the game. I'm mining. But yeah, look, I think the price of this has a very, very good chance of appreciating based on how other gaming tokens have gone. Now, this isn't on exchanges yet, so it does represent a very, very early opportunity. What can you tell the audience about when this actually will be listed and on exchanges, Stefano?
We don't know.
Yeah,
we have absolutely no news about that. Here's the thing. So regarding like the opportunity and so on, I did my first sales back in January, I think it was. And since that, the value of the token has doubled.
Okay.
On like when I sold and like where we are now. Is this like DeFi summer, 10x, 40x, 50x? No, it's definitely not. But it's a double in value on something that has a very low volatility and liquidity, because it's quite standard. It's only like that peer-to-peer market, so you can't expect like crazy things. If you're coming in with like $50,000, it doesn't work like that. This is a completely different animal. Obviously, every single crypto is in need of being able to be tradable, because if that doesn't happen, then the project doesn't have a future in the blockchain space. And obviously the team is well aware of that. So for sure, 100%, they're going to get to the point of releasing the token on something, on an exchange and so on. Now, because the team is like from South Korea, I wouldn't be surprised if they're actually trying to go on a South Korean exchange because of like, all the regulation that there are in South Korea, the KYC, the MAL and so on, which is also the reason why Bitcoin traditionally is traded at a higher value in South Korea than the rest of the market. I would think that that's a natural step for them, which unfortunately is not good news for us because we're not in South Korea, obviously. But I do expect that at one point, because everything is open source, they mentioned more than once that because everything is open source, a user could just simply take the token, wrap that, create a version like, for Ethereum, for Tron, for Polygon, for Binance Smart Chain, whatever it is, and and just like place that on an exchange. In the same way that we have like the wrap token into Aave, and we have like the Aave stable coin. Here we could have the same exact thing, or the wrap 9 Chronicles Gold. But as of today, we do not have a news or an announcement of when actually this thing will hit an exchange. I would say pretty soon. Next 3-6 months, something like that. I would be surprised if it takes more, because the pre-sale of the game was a year ago. So it has been 1 year. There is a development. There are gamers. There are players. The value is increasing. The activities are going on. The numbers of like actions in game is absolutely growing. We're not talking about 65,000 active daily users like in Axie, obviously. We're completely different animals. But it's going there. So it's a natural step that they would develop something like that.
Yeah. Look, I mean, we've been involved in Axie from pretty early days, putting it mildly, and we've seen the exponential growth of that game. I'm a big believer in the gaming space. As I said at the top of the show, this whole metaverse that's getting created out there now is just amazing to watch. We're going to be talking about our Axie scholarships in a moment, but there's 3 billion gamers on this planet, and I just wanted to draw your attention to something I found pretty interesting. Obviously, we've got a lot of people blaming Elon Musk for the correction in the crypto market here. Look, I don't doubt for a second that Elon Musk has probably got some sort of play in the Bitcoin mining space coming up. I think it's naive to think that he only just found out about the carbon footprint of proof of work. We obviously know that Tesla make these power walls. I'm expecting that the power wall may or an add-on to it or a new version may well facilitate the mining of crypto. Also, just while we're on gaming, I found it really interesting here. They've actually got a car that has these gaming consoles built in. They're just as powerful as the actual gaming consoles out there. So is there a big play here for crypto mining from Tesla? I think so. I think so. Now, just also quickly, while I'm mentioning Tesla, of just finding it absolutely hilarious. Here's a look at the latest scam ad that is running around on YouTube. It's been playing at the start of my videos. Have a look at this.
How do you prioritize between the different companies? How do you prioritize? How do you spend your time?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, got 24 water.
So basically, just be careful out there, people. There's a ton of scams running around at the moment. A lot of them involve using Elon Musk's name, image. I'm not saying SpaceX or V SpaceX is a scam token at all. Just drawing your attention to there is one floating around by that name. But yeah, be careful out there, people. Don't listen to the FUD and watch out for scams. Okay, the other thing I just wanted to briefly touch on today, the more FUD. I hate to say it, but it is more FUD. Bitcoin is certainly getting to a point where it's absolutely on the radar of everybody now, and the latest cab off the rank there to voice concerns is the Irish Central Bank. Now, this sort of mirrors comments made by a number of other central banks. We've had the Bank of England, Bank of Japan also voicing similar statements about how dangerous crypto can be. Yes, because it's dangerous to your fiat currencies. Understand that, people. Understand this. Just like Nine Chronicles is a completely decentralized game. It's owned by the community. It's run by the community. You can mine the token. Bitcoin's exactly the same. It can't be stopped. Can't be switched off. So look, expect more headwinds. Expect more FUD. I think we're going to see massive, massive swings in the price of this asset. If you don't have the stomach for that and you're jumping in and out of trades here, and I know many of you are, there's plenty of other things you can invest your money in. You can go into traditional equities, loads of other stuff. If crypto isn't for you, and you're chopping in and out of trades here, and you're not an experienced trader, then have a think about if crypto is for you. Because trust me, there's going to be all sorts of violent swings in the prices of these assets. Yes, Bitcoin's, what was it, 54% drop is actually the second biggest in its history in the month of May. I would argue it's the biggest because the other one that was bigger happened back in 2011 when there was about 8 people involved in Bitcoin. So look, it has been a shock to a lot of people. Any thoughts on that, guys? You're a hodler. You believe in the technology, Stefano, so I know your thoughts, but maybe you might want to reiterate those. And in fact, off the back of that, can you give us a bit of a state of play on what's happening with Ethereum?
Look, I think that the situation is that everybody has felt the drop. I don't know anybody that, in private conversation and so on, didn't tell me. And I'm talking about people that are being in the space for a serious amount of times, not the little Joe that comes in in January and so on. Everybody felt that because it was huge. We all had that burn of capital and so on. But on the other side, we're still up. We're still insanely up compared to a year ago, 2 years ago. We're still higher than the previous all-time high of 20,000 and on 1.4 on ETH. So, it's one of those things where I'm like, are we lower than before? Yeah, of course we are. Of course we are. Absolutely. Did we all lost a lot compared to 2 weeks ago? Yeah, of course. But, if you're looking at investments in a proper way of holding for 5-10 years and those type of values, even 12 months or even 24 months, we're still up of returns of 50%, 60%, 70%.
Stefano, you're talking about people that are in crypto, right?
Yeah.
And what is it in the last 6 months? I would say, I have no idea, but there's a whole bunch of new people, brand new people. Those people are not up. And those people are going to do the same shit that happened in 2018. They bought the top. They're going to see their shit bleed out for a couple of weeks or a month, and then they're going to leave and call it a scam, right? and then there will only be the hardcores left. It's, you know, the cycle is repeating totally.
Yeah.
You know,
The
the FUD
different-
picks up. It's crazy though.
The different that I'm seeing is that, like, you know, I agree. I totally agree. But a lot of people that have done like the baptism, let's call it like that, in 2017, and then like went down on 90% on the bags and so on, you know, there is a solid part that left, obviously. And there is that solid part that left that now are actually reapproaching and be like, oh, I see that it's all-time high. Should I buy back in now? You know, and those are like the market. Let's remember that the solid majority of investors, the solid majority of people that throw money at things will lose money. There is a small percentage of people that makes money by, like, you know, trading, investing, and so on. The people that have stick around, they are always going to be in the space now because they know that, like, the potential, not even the potential, but like the simple fact of like what you're doing in the market right now works better than when you have in the traditional sector. Here is the same thing. You know, I'm not worried because, like, you got the layer that came from 2017 and remained. Yes, it's true. Out of the 100 is probably 5% that remain. The 95 run away. Here, same thing. It comes in, another 90% will go away, and a 10% will settle, and so on and so on and so on. Adoption on technologies like that takes a lot of time. If you're taking like all the storylines of like, we are supposed to replace, according to the storyline, the entire monetary system, the entire salary and making money models, the gold standard, the fiat currencies, the way that we perceive money, the entire banking industry, like everything we're supposed to like change with blockchain, according to the storyline. Things like that takes an insane amount of time, I think. So where do I see these? I mean, it's a drops, yeah, whatever. But like, I'm not worried at all, to be honest, at the moment. Yes, it hurt. It hurted because like I can't lie on that. But apart from that, I'm exactly as I am before. On Ethereum, things are exactly as they were 2 weeks ago and 3 weeks ago. Apart from the fact that so they expand the block size, and we covered that like in the past week. Half of July is still in place for 1559. A lot of adoption is now finally happening on layer 2s and like, for example, on Polygon and so on. Think about like Aave, Curve, and Sushi. They all have liquidity incentives for migrating from layer 1 to layer 2. Axie has moved away from layer 1 to their side chain on Ronin. I'm thinking about like all the things that are normally like congesting the Ethereum layer 1. Apart from Uniswap, the rest is actually like start moving to like other places. And so obviously that result in the network being like way more smoother to be used. The other thing is that like roll-ups are finally coming in. And so that's would add another thing on the top on like layer 2s. And overall, in general, like the development on Ethereum is going exactly as it's supposed to happen. So, you know, that's why right now we're probably like some of the lowest gas costs that we've seen in the past like 2 or 3 weeks. Or what am I saying? 2 or 3 weeks? 5-6 months, probably something like that. Because we're what, like 16 in way price. So yeah, that's pretty much where we are now.
We also
Overall,
need a comedy story, and here's my one for today.
Ex-head of China's digital yuan effort says CBDCs could operate on Ethereum. Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, it could, but I certainly don't see that happening. You know, I brought up the story about the central bank in Ireland voicing their concerns about stateless money effectively. So I don't think the central banks, especially the Chinese central bank, will be using Ethereum in any great hurry.
Well, that's true. But on the other side, you know, I wouldn't completely remove that option in reality. Yes, it's true. They want to keep control. Yes, it's true. Blah, blah, all the same thing that we mention all the time. But Visa's done tested on settlement on Ethereum. You know, big companies.
Visa is a private company. Visa, a lot of people, this lost on a lot of people. That was actually huge news for Ethereum when that happened a couple of weeks ago. You know, Visa only reports to its shareholders, and clearly they're making a major play in crypto. Central banks, unfortunately, in so many scenarios, and all right, this is just a personal view, but they report to the elite, to the 1%. You know, we've had a 15% devaluation effectively in fiat currencies since 2008. Hence, we're seeing a lot of these companies move treasuries into Bitcoin and I think Ethereum as well now. So, you know, that story did make me laugh. I really see massive headwinds for the crypto space as we figure out, you know, is crypto going to come over and talk to traditional finance? Or a lot of people think in crypto that it'll be the other way around. Traditional finance will come over to the crypto space. Listen, what we're seeing here is, I think, DeFi gaming and Bitcoin is the you know, a treasury asset. You know, these are the big plays happening at the moment. You know, so much of DeFi is on Ethereum. You know, I increased my hodl position yesterday in ETH. You know, I've been doing some swing trading lately, but look, I'm just so convinced on the Ethereum narrative, on the Bitcoin narrative. I slept pretty easy last night. You know, I'm not, my swing trade percentage, I've dropped that back. I've just gone into a hodl position. Yeah, I'm prepared. It could drop 50% again. Does that worry me? Not in the freaking slightest. You know, as Stefano has bleats on about, you know, it's a long play here. You know, we all love those quick gains, and you get those in the shit coins. But, you know, understanding those base layers, those base protocols, Bitcoin, Ethereum, I don't think you're going to go too wrong investing in those and sitting on them, riding out the dips. Yeah, look, if you're an experienced trader, awesome opportunity at the moment, the way the market's behaving for swing trading. But yeah, I reduced my cash position. I went back into ETH and Bitcoin positions yesterday. I'm just going to hold them. I know where this is going.
An interesting trading video there yesterday, Sean, with Matt from the Crypto Jungle.
Yeah, look, I mean, you know, Matt was...
I don't know about that whole analysis. He's a funny trader. It's like the Tone Weiss school of thought. Everything else is a shitcoin. I only trade Bitcoin. He said he stared at that chart for hours every day. Yeah,
I mean, look, he made a couple of... He did make a comment that, you know, if you're in multiple shitcoins, you're hurting right now. You know, there's a lot of channels out there telling you, okay, we're going to trade in and out of this one now. You know, it becomes too much. You know, I was trying to manage, I don't know, probably around 15 of them. I've certainly reduced the amount of, whether you call them shitcoins or not, right down to, you know, to the top tier. We did a video the other day, my top 5 coins. I think I threw in a couple of others. Yeah, they've all bounced back a hell of a lot more. But I'm still sitting in some of the, you know, some of the projects we reviewed on this show. I mean, some of them have been hammered. They're down 90%. You know, we do that show to show utility of the different projects and so forth. And yep, I'm stuck in those now. And they might go to, some of them might go to zero. Some of them I might have to sit on for a very long time. And my thoughts go out to people that are in a whole heap of smaller projects and, you know, and the dApps, shitcoins, whatever you want to call them. Yeah, that's got to be hurting for you right now. But look, you know, you're possibly going to get a chance on a dead cat bounce, and might be an idea to consider moving into some of the bigger projects, Bitcoin, Ethereum. Hate to say it, but I think Binance Coin will probably do quite well. It was actually one of the better performing coins during the bear cycle. So, yeah. Thoughts go out. I mean, look, Matt's analysis, and what I'm finding interesting at the moment, Mr. Gonzo, is the amount of bearish sentiment has just been pretty epic. In my experience, when you reach that sort of point where, oh God, you know, what the hell am I doing here? You know, it's often when it takes off. Let's see.
Yeah, no doubt. But it was just interesting that, I mean, that guy was old school, dude. He only uses BitMEX. That's crazy.
Yeah, look, I'm trying to get as many different opinions and voices on the channel. And I like Matt. I think he's a great guy. He's been a very successful trader. You know, there's a lot of sort of cheerleader analysts out there who are only ever giving you the good news. So
Yeah, we don't want any of those.
So, if you are a trader, look, get as many different opinions as possible. We've got 3 different traders that come on this channel. I rate them all as people. They've all got slightly different ideas. So, check out the different voices, people. But, for me, as I said yesterday, I'm fundamentally, I'm an investor based on fundamentals, always have been. Look, I have fun trading, but it's a small percentage of my portfolio. So, how many coins are you currently holding, Mr. Gonzo?
2 billion.
All the same ones. I literally haven't made a trade in 2 weeks, something like that. Yeah, all the same shit.
So if we were to get a bounce, would you consider coming out of some of those other projects?
Not really.
No?
I mean, everything that I have, it's like fundamentally stuff that I believe in.
Yeah.
And like, I've seen it go through the cycles now. And like, there's just too much fuckery to try and time everything. You know, like I have stuff that I think there's one project that I bought just on like fucking stupid hype, but everything else that I'm holding is like all stuff that like I've gone through one bear cycle. I can go through another bear cycle. I don't care. Like, and when it peaks, I took my profits like the last 6 months, 8 months. I'm totally fine with what happened in the last 6 months since January. Like there was crazy gains, and I took enough profit that I'm like, good. Okay. I'm like, I can ride out the rest of the year if I have to, and I've built other projects that I know will create income for me.
Correct. So it's a good segue. I mean, I like what you've said there. You've traded well. You might be caught in a few. You still believe in them fundamentally. You might have to sit on them for a long time. But with a lot of your profits, you've cycled that into building your Axie scholarship teams. So let's finish off the show on that note. Where are we at? How many scholars have we got now? How many more teams have we got? And just remind people that are finding us for the first time exactly what we are doing quickly and how they can be involved.
Well, I've just placed Axies in 69, dude. Scholarship number 69. That's Gonzo 69, but that's actually 78 scholars that I have now. So I'm going to top out at 100 here and then reassess everything because, the time that's required to get everybody going and organize everything. I think Stefano, what are you at now? 75 or 80 scholars now?
81.
81. There you go. Yeah. So, once we're at 200, we've had small conversations about, just reassessing and figure out how to scale it up even further, because scaling it up even further now, there's not really any like automation right now. So it just turns into more time required from us to organize everything.
I spent my entire day yesterday trying to get wallets set up. I've got some scholarships I'll be giving out in the coming weeks. I spoke to some friends in Jamaica yesterday. They're having a really, really tough time over there. So it's a country we haven't built a community in yet. So I'm looking forward to doing that as well. We've obviously got a strong community in the Philippines, Venezuela, continue to support us, and we continue to support them. So look, we do have more scholars on the way, but yeah, do understand that it is a truckload of admin and time that goes in the background.
One of the issues, right, is that to scale up, everything needs to be a bit automated. So we're talking about getting bots and automating the claims, but the problem is that most of the terms and conditions in Axie are against that, right? So for this exact reason, but there's obviously ways around it, because there's like scholarships, that have hundreds and thousands, maybe not thousands yet, but there's hundreds and hundreds of scholars.
Thousands.
The news last week was that they banned a whole bunch of accounts, and they said that a couple of scholarships lost hundreds of scholars due to bans. So, it seems like there's a bit of like a constriction going on happening with, who's using the teams and how, and being super careful about that kind of stuff. So I think it's a good point where once we each hit 100, just kind of let it go for a month or two and see how it progresses and develops, and then decide where we can expand further and how we can do that. If we have to sink a bit of money into some development tools, right? Or if if we just decide, okay, this is enough, and then we just work on flipping and improving what we have. So we'll see what happens. But, you know, we're having a bunch of graduating scholars. You know, congratulations. We had Jesus and Laura were our first couple graduates. And I've recently had Singh, who she did really well. She ended up with her own team. What she did is she gave that team to her sister to play. And then she's continued on with another scholarship. And then Fernando, we're just fixing his account right now. He ended up with a whole schwack of sexy beasts that he's going to use to start his own scholarship, right? And he's even found a friend of his that's helping him invest. So, you know, not only are we teaching or getting people just to be scholars, they're also learning how to run their own scholarships. So that's kind of cool, you know? Yeah. So it's like you're just not, you know, teaching one person. That one person is going to bring 5 people on, and then those 5 people are going to bring 5 people on. Yeah. So it's the exponential growth. You can definitely see how it's happening. Yeah,
I mean, look, it's, you know, for me, that's what I'm loving about this, because, you know, we are in an exponential world now in this blockchain space. The numbers are showing us that. So, you know, for me, the reward with any investment, you got to look at risk reward. And I think the reward in this exponential world we've found ourselves in now massively outweighs the risk, you know. So our focus on this channel has been educating you on Bitcoin, on Ethereum, trying to encourage you to get in there and, you know, use this tech. And, you know, the gaming space and the DeFi space for me are just, you know, this, you've got to understand this, you've got to get involved. It has been the mantra of this channel. You know, we looked at those airdrops at the top of the show. That's what happens if you get in there. So look, I hope on today's show we've you know, helped you understand that a bit more. Mr. Gonzo, any you want to wrap it up on what's happening with Axie, and we'll
Oh no, I was just about comparing, you know, like you were saying, play to earn and DeFi, they're both really good. I just look at it like in the potential, right? And even what's happened so far, the potential in DeFi, like the target market, what is that, right? That's, you know, you've got your early crypto adopters, right? People that are willing to take risks and have some capital, because you can't make anything in DeFi unless you have capital, right? Like you can't just like jump into DeFi and like start making massive returns, right? Most average people they're not going in heavy. They're coming in with $1,000, $10,000 at the most, right? You're going to make some returns on that if you know which DeFis to do. And that's why I'm just so bullish on play to earn, because the potential is like a millionfold. The people that are doing DeFi, it's a very, 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 very tiny subsection of like risk-taking people with capital, you know, that want to invest in something new, right?
I'll disagree with your last point there. You know, we've got, obviously we've had Mark Cuban sort of trumpeting crypto, but, you know, now his colleague on that show, the Shark Tank, Mr. Wonderful, he's been very, very public lately about his use of his company's use of DeFi. So he's got multiple companies. They're putting 3% of their treasury assets into DeFi because they've understood that you can earn a yield. Institutions didn't invest in Bitcoin for you know, as long as I've been in it, because it wasn't a yield generating asset. That's now changed. Ethereum is game changing that space in DeFi for institutions. So yes, somebody like myself, I only invest in something that I'm actually using now, and that's Bitcoin and Ethereum. I use them every day. So the DeFi space, yes, it is those earlier crypto adopters, like guys like ourselves. We've understood it. It is very complex. You know, it took me a while to really get my head around that. Now I just wouldn't even entertain going back to the traditional finance world looking for a yield. Hell no. If I want to buy a house or something like that, yeah, then I have to go and utilize that. Although Stefano will probably tell you that's also possible now in blockchain without the traditional finance world. But the traditional finance world and that DeFi world have clearly already come together. Yes, we're going through a process of compliance and regulation. That'll be an ongoing thing for a number of years, but they're here. So I disagree with that last bit. You know, DeFi is all about institutions getting a better yield than they're going to get from the bond market from, sorry?
Well, but what you're talking about is, you know, you're enabling the top like 1% or 5% of people with money to get more money, right? So you're talking about like, oh yeah, the institutions are smartening up and they're learning out, figure out how to get more yield, right? That's still a tiny, tiny, tiny amount of people, you know, that are getting into crypto. These are guys with lots of money, but those aren't like people that are like, I need money to feed my kid. You know what I mean? Like the opportunity of people to get into like play to earn gaming is way more massive than the people that will get into DeFi because they're going to make better yields than financial.
Sure, but I mean, those two worlds, we're already seeing them merge. You know, those people who are, generating value from the use of play to earn, it's just a natural progression. They'll understand that, okay, I don't need to exit back to fiat. Obviously, they're going to need to for their basic living costs. But, I think that's going to be a very, very quick progression to them understanding the use of decentralized finance. I really do.
The adoption is totally different things on those two subsections, like DeFi adoption. It's DeFi summer last year, right? Like that was started by massive whales, massively inflating the prices and getting everybody interested in DeFi because of the crazy gains, right? And then we saw the same thing with NFT art, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody got interested in everybody's a collector now. Everybody's an NFT art collector now. Why? Because the gains were massive, right? But the people that are getting into play to earn, it's not because they're seeing massive gains. It's because they can actually live and just make a sustainable income, right? Mm-hmm. Without like having to move their whole family or, do criminally underpaid, like backbreaking work, So I don't know. It's just so much more potential than just DeFi, and like DeFi is enabling people with money to make more money, right? And the whole idea of crypto, like the banking the unbanked, like that's, for me, I see it happening now. So I've just like stopped focusing so much on the DeFi and all that other stuff and this other use case and mass adoption. Like, I mean, I'd call my trading program.
But I mean, you could almost lump it together because, if you're generating, so play to earn is all about those digital property rights that you get with, the NFTs, that and DeFi to me are almost sort of one and the same. You're operating in a decentralized world. It's financial. You're doing it because there's value associated with that NFT, that asset that you're putting your time and getting value back for. So I think we're sort of talking semantics here a wee bit. I mean, DeFi is a bit of a general term, and I would include that token economy in the play to earn space as part of DeFi.
Sure. DeFi is a part of play to earn, no doubt, because people, I mean, you're seeing that already with the scholars, like, they get a bit of cash and they're like, trade something or stake something, get a bit of passive income and like, oh, I got some profits from this, I'm going to buy that. It's like good, like they never had that opportunity before. It's the foot in the door.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely. So look, any parting comments, thoughts, Stefano?
Not really. I think that like you two have summarized that. I do believe that what we're seeing is really the fact that like I believe that DeFi is a very important thing. Yes, it's true. The banks are coming in now, the investment funds, the hedge funds, and so on. It's true what Jordan is saying. Like if you want to see a massive return from DeFi, you need to start with a big capital. That is true. However, I don't view DeFi in that way. I think that DeFi is now becoming a little bit more normal in the sense of like, if we're looking at the interest rate that has been dropping like just in the past 1 or 2 weeks, till 2 days ago, to give you an example, if you were borrowing Matic token from the Aave app version on Polygon, you were generating more than what you had to pay. So basically like Aave with the liquidity program was giving you free money to borrow Matic token. They were paying you to do that. If you're looking at that today, now it's not like that. It costs you 1% a year to do that. So those type of flips, if you're taking something a little bit more centralized, Celsius has moved from like a 10.5% return a year on stablecoin to an 8.88. So lower a little bit. We're starting seeing like a little bit of like more normal or less crazy returns. But if you're comparing that with a traditional bank, they're still like extremely high. So what I see it's going to happen is that like these people that, as Jordan was mentioning, that are getting a living, a salary, a real full-time job by the play-to-earn industry. And play-to-earn is what it's available now. But we need to think that like in the long run, this thing will increase even more to other type of activities, not just like to the gaming part. And then you got like, obviously, your path and your channel when you're cashing out because you need to leave to survive, to pay the grocery and so on. And the other part, you're going to place that in DeFi because you're going to get like your stable coin, for example, you're going to get like your 7, 8, 9, 10% return a year for that. The main point of that entire path is that it's exactly what we mentioned earlier, is that complete detach of the revolution of the entire economical system. And when you get like to the part that like from start to end, you can actually execute everything that you need. Yes, it's true. One thing might be more important than another one, but every single step of the channel of the flow are essential in order to achieve that complete turn of not needing the traditional market, the traditional financial things. The houses, for example, that you were mentioning, I mentioned that before. I buy fractionalized real estate in the US and they're tokens and it's full down on the blockchain. And I pay like with stable coins from ETH when I'm doing that. So if I have a little bit of money that are left, instead of putting that on DeFi and Aave, I can even buy a little bit of real estate because people are traditional and real estate is a good thing. Stable coin, instead of putting in a bank account, I can put that into a smart contract. A little bit more risk, instead of buying stocks, and they're gonna ride, by the way, tokenized stocks. But instead of going on a tokenized stock, I can buy into a crypto on a DEX. I can be an exchange maker, and I can provide the liquidity. I can earn by playing a game. I can earn by like listening to music. You know, every single part of the funnel. When we achieve that from start to end, that's it, done. Every single point is essential for that. Some more than others. Yes, it's true.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would argue I could live in a completely crypto blockchain-based world now. I mean, I've got a crypto credit card, so anything that I need to buy from a traditional retail outlet or whatever, I can spend my crypto there via that card. You know, these networks, these payment rails are still evolving. But, you know, for that reason...
Moon card?
It is a to the moon card, indeed. Yes.
I don't think that we're there yet. Like if I'm thinking, for example, at Singapore, you have an yearly limit spending that you have. And for example, if I'm thinking about like my rent, for example, I can't pay my rent with a card. Yes, there are apps that allows me to do that, but then I have a limit of $30,000 per year, Singaporean dollars per year. Singapore is way more. If I'm putting my rent in, like I max that out, I would need like 2, 3, 4 cards in order to do that. It becomes like very, very complicated. We're seeing like how things can work, but we're not there yet. Like things really need to grow much more in order to get.
No, and when they are there, people, you're not going to make huge freaking gains on investing in these technologies at this point. That's kind of the point of this show, is to really be showing you where we are, what you can do right now, how to get involved. You know, this is the exciting times. You know, 55% correction. There'll be more of those, but it's only going in one direction. Stefano, compare it to a year ago. It's just, it really has been exponential, eh?
Yeah. To be honest, I was more excited a year ago.
Really? You don't think it's moved as fast as you thought it would?
No, don't take me wrong. I think it is. It's just that, like, I like beer markets because, and this is a personal thing, because I'm seeing like how it becomes like a challenge against me versus the world type of thing. In a bear situation, it's like everybody's like, oh, crypto's doomed. There is not a lot of noise coming up because in general, like people are building. I like the tech. I like to test out things in general. Now, since January, we're being like on FOMO on so many things. Content creators has been shilling everything. All of this mass wave of like wannabe traders calling out crazy returns, which is in reality, it's all like all lies, let's be honest. Just look at the real thing. So when someone called a specific trade, you enter there and then you're sank into a position for like 5 or 6 months, but they're still looking at you, showing a you chart of like 200% return. it's all bullshit. Like it just like upset me because it completely take away the focus from what is important. Money wise, of course, it's been great, but it's been great not because I entered in January. It's been great because I was in when everybody else was saying that everything was doomed and it was gone and it was like completely wrecked and so on, that there was no future. That's the only main difference on that. I do believe that in general, corrections like these are really, really good because they give, for as much as I hate to look at my portfolio and be like, damn, I lost half of my net worth. Like, nobody likes that, let's be honest. But on the other side, I'm like, at least it's good because it gives like an enormous slap in the face to so many people that people really need to stop this thing of wanting to be rich quickly. You need to understand that if you want to make money, you need to spit blood. There is no other way around. As long as you think that you're going to be the smartest person in the room and be like, haha, I found this person that is going to make me rich, you're always going to lose money. Everybody, and I say this so many times, everybody is a genius in a bull run. Why? Because it's a bull run. Look at every single person that has done call on tokens that are going to the moon before the 50 or 60% correction. Nobody called direct moment. Nobody. So there you have it. That's the only difference. No, but it's true. It's one of those things that it literally irritates me.
No, fair enough.
Because
I mean, look, you have said this from day one that you've been on the show. I mean, look, we've covered a lot of tokens on the show, looking to demonstrate the utility, giving our thoughts, positive and negative on them. But yeah, look, I mean, look, I do admire your position. You've stuck to that. You've got your Ethereum and your Bitcoin positions. You believe in those long term. What else do you believe in? Is there anything else that you're seeing in the space that you think has got legs? I mean, I hold smaller position. Sorry?
Human greed. That's honestly the last couple of weeks. That's what's turned me off the most. And my faith in human greed is alive and kicking, honestly. That's
see,
yeah,
6 months, I think 6 months ago or 10 months ago, we had a similar conversation and you say that you're more optimistic on the human than me. Now it seems you're turning into the dark side.
It's going through the full cycle and the extreme FOMO. And I joined in 2018 and I've had, I joined when everybody's bleeding out. And it's like you said, with the bear market, man, I had obviously I lost money, but I was looking for things that I could use and try out and actually make use of instead of just put money in and wait and hope till it goes up. Right. So I did that for 2 years, 3 years, I made art for Bitcoin, all this kind of stuff. But the last month was just so dirty and disgusting. It literally turned my
I would
stomach.
say the last 4 months, to be honest, but even 5.
I mean, just the complete.
In what respect?
Doge, the Shiba, fucking,
right.
Everything's save the world coin. Fuck off. Fucking scammers. So many everywhere. They're just everywhere.
Well, there's over 7,000 coins out there. I mean, a lot of them are
and Johnny Gonzo owns a bag in every single one of them.
I told you when everything was going up, I was taking healthy profits. I'm totally fine. I kept my moon bags for things that I know I'm still going to be in 2 years.
What drove you to buy half of these? Was it greed?
The same reason I bought Axie. It's you can see the potential where it's actually can be used in the future. You know what I mean? I'd rather feed my own profits than a big corporation that's exploiting me. You know what I mean? So and it's not I'm doing it so cutthroat that I'm exploiting other people. I'm trying to help out these scholars as much as possible. Most of the other scholarships, they want the scholars in to fucking grind for a year at a time. we've given them, like in our 6 months, we've got like 4 or 5 graduates already, people that have enough to start their own scholarships. You know, it's not like I'm here exploiting and taking their money, taking 50%, 60% of their time and their earnings, right? So, you know, trying to lead by example here a little bit. That's all.
I know you've got a very good heart, Mr. Gonzo. I did find your greed comment funny though, because if anyone was a trader of shit coins,
sure, you know, like I said, but we were doing that. I fucking spent 2.5 years bleeding out. It's like, I'm not going to take advantage of all the stuff going up that I bought. Fuck no. Come on.
True, you did the hard yards. I think. Well, I mean,
we were seeing people that were like 30, 40x from January, and you're like, oh, fuck this. Where's my next 10x? Where's my next 100x? Oh, I need another 100x. You know, just like the fucking crackheads, you know, just like, oh, where's that next 10x? Where's that next 50x? You know?
It's quite funny to see a lot of the YouTubers all turning on each other at the moment. There's a hell of a lot of shit slinging going on around. I'm finding that very amusing to watch.
Yep.
Yeah, but you know, they changed their narratives on a whim. It's, you know, I think I forget who said it before, but you know, remember who showed you what, when, and why. People would make pretty good decisions on you know, where you get your advice from moving forward. Just saying. Okay, let's wrap it up for today, boys. Any last thoughts? Oh, I do. I think this is super awesome. The Bitcoin car, which has been funded by the Bitcoin community. Great story. There's a look at my Twitter page. This guy here, it's actually a guy called Jack Mellors that helped pull this together. I'm a big fan of Jack's. He's been doing a hell of a lot of work in the third world, getting a monetary system in place, places like Guatemala, etc. But he's helped coordinate the Bitcoin community. 70% of the funds raised have gone to development, and the rest have gone into this racing car that placed 5th in the Indianapolis 500 yesterday. So I think that's pretty damn cool. Taproot is also looking like it is ready to roll as well, people. That's going to be very interesting. It's the biggest thing to happen to Bitcoin since SegWit. So look, I also expect some fireworks moving forward in the Bitcoin community around these privacy issues, but it'll be really interesting to see how Taproot is implemented here, because it is effectively the first change to the Bitcoin network in a number of years. So just want to get a bit of Bitcoin news in there for you. I don't really talk about it too much lately. Anything else before we go?
Oh, good.
Sounds good, man.
Okay, we'll see you back here with these two on Friday for the live show. Now, look, that has turned into a bit of an Axie show. We really do also want people who maybe aren't into Axie to come along and ask us questions about crypto, about play to earn, about DeFi, Bitcoin, Ethereum. Please
move that to Theta.
Yes, we are. But we'll talk about that afterwards, because at the moment, Stefano can't screen share on that software.
Oh, what?
He needs
Yeah,
to.
it doesn't work. I don't know why. It froze my.
As soon as he does that, we can go and play it.
Or I can just not screen share, you know?
That's true. True. Yeah, but we will be, back here Friday on the YouTube, but also on a number of other platforms, and Stefano won't be screen sharing. See you all soon. Bye-bye.
1 BTC and 32 ETH.